Girl, how did you get in here? Nurse Ivana froze in the doorway of room 304. Her eyes couldn't believe what they saw. A little girl, with golden hair, dressed in a simple green dress, stood on the bed of the clinic's most important patient, gently holding Saul Bravo's hand. Ivana's heart beat faster. "If Dr. Reparo catches her here," whispered the girl, without even turning around. "He's dreaming something good. Don't wake him." The monitors, which had been monotonous for 3 months, showed activity spikes that Ivana had never seen before. The pulse quickened but remained stable, as if he really... "Little one, you can't be here. This is intensive care, only for relatives." "He hears me," interrupted Maya, with the absolute certainty that only children have. "When I talk to him, his fingers move a little. Look." Ivana approached slowly, her white shoes rustling on the floor. Indeed, when the girl gently squeezed the hand of the unconscious entrepreneur, his fingers responded with a light tremor. "Impossible. What's your name, girl?" "Maya. My mom cleans this floor at night. She says this gentleman is very lonely. No one visits him, only the doctors." Ivana felt a lump in her throat. It was the truth. In 3 months, the powerful Bravo family had visited Saul exactly 4 times. His sister Vittoria came every 15 days out of duty, his ex-fiancée Louisa only once, and his partners, well, they only asked when he could sign documents again. "And what do you tell him?" Maya smiled with the innocence that breaks the heart. "About my school, about my cat, Princess, about how Mom works so much so I can study, and I sing the song that Mom sings to me when I have nightmares." She began to hum a soft melody, almost inaudible. But the monitors didn't lie. Saul's brain activity rose sharply. Ivana felt goosebumps on her back. In 30 years as a nurse, she had seen a lot. But this... "Sleep, little one, or Kuka will come," sang Maya with her crystal-clear voice. Saul's eyelids twitched. Ivana held her breath. "Sleep, little one, or Kuka will come," continued the girl. This time there was no doubt. Saul's eyes moved under the closed lids, as if he was fighting to wake up. "Maya, you have to get down from there immediately," whispered Ivana, but her voice betrayed more astonishment than authority. "Just a little more, and I'll tell him that tomorrow is my birthday, and Mom will bake a chocolate cake, even though she works 2 shifts to buy it." Tears were ready to burst from Ivana's eyes. This girl, without knowing it, was giving the man who had everything the one thing he really needed: sincere companionship. Hasty steps sounded in the corridor. "Ivana, where are you? The doctor wants the report on the patient," shouted the head nurse from the post. Panic seized Ivana. If they find her here, she would not only lose her job, but Juliana, her mother, would also be fired immediately. "Little one, you have to go right now. Your mom could get into very big trouble." Maya gently kissed Saul's hand and whispered in his ear, "I'll come back tomorrow, okay? Don't be afraid. I'm here." At that moment, something impossible happened. Saul's lips curved into a smile. Ivana blinked several times, convinced her eyes were deceiving her, but when she looked again, the entrepreneur's face seemed calmer than it had been in the last months. Ivana's voice of Dr. Reparo sounded closer and closer. Maya jumped off the bed with the agility of a cat and ran to the door, but stopped for a moment. "Ivana, is it true that he will wake up soon? I promised him." Before Ivana could answer, the girl disappeared in the corridor like a golden lightning, leaving behind the smell of Johnson's soap and the question of what power this little girl possessed that the country's best doctors didn't have. The monitors continued to show activity. For the first time in 3 months, Saul Bravo seemed alive. 2 weeks later, Ivana became a silent accomplice. Every night, when Juliana Ferreira finished cleaning the east wing of the hospital, Maya sneaked into room 304 for a few minutes. Ivana tried to stop her the first times, but the results were undeniable. Saul's vital signs improved sharply during these visits. "This can't be explained to the doctors," murmured Ivana to herself, looking at the charts. "They'd say I've gone crazy." That evening, Maya brought something special in her small hands. "I brought a drawing," she announced in a quiet voice, carefully climbing onto the chair by the bed. "This is us when you wake up." Ivana approached to look at the drawing. Made with worn wax crayons, it depicted a tall man with dark hair holding a little girl's hand. Both were smiling under a yellow sun. "Why do you think he'll wake up, little one?" "Because yesterday he squeezed my hand 3 times, like this." She gently demonstrated the gesture. "And when I told him about the kitten we found in the yard, he moved his lips as if he wanted to smile." Maya placed her drawing on the bedside table and began her nightly ritual. She took Saul's hand and started telling about her day. "Today at school, the teacher asked what we want to be when we grow up. I said a doctor to help people like you." Miguel laughed and said, "A poor girl can't become a doctor." The monitors showed an activity spike. "You know what I said? My mom says dreams have no price. Only hard work is needed. Mom studied to be a nurse, but had to drop out when I was born. She said it doesn't matter. She'll help me become a doctor." Ivana felt a lump in her throat. She didn't know that Juliana had studied nursing. That explained her knowledge of hospital protocols and her professional way of moving through the corridors. "Mom works a lot. Sometimes I hear her crying in the bathroom when she thinks I'm asleep. But she always smiles when she sees me, says we're a team, she and I, against the whole world." Suddenly, Saul's fingers closed around Maya's hand. Ivana dropped the thermometer she was holding. "Maya! Ivana! Look! He did it again!" But this time, it was different. Saul's eyelids began to open slowly, as if waking from a deep sleep. "My God," whispered Ivana, rushing to the intercom. "Doctor, come to room 304 immediately. Patient Bravo is waking up." Maya didn't move, her big, shiny eyes fixed on Saul's face. "Hello," she simply said. "I told you not to be afraid." Saul's eyes, confused and clouded by medication, found her. His mouth moved, trying to form words. "Angel," he croaked, with a voice hoarse from disuse. "The voice of an angel." "I'm not an angel. I'm Maya. I'm 6 years old, and tomorrow is my real birthday." Saul blinked several times, as if processing impossible information. He tried to sit up, but his atrophied muscles didn't respond. "We're hospital? You had a very serious accident, but you're getting better. I took care of you while you slept." Hasty steps sounded in the corridor. Ivana knew that in seconds the room would be full of doctors and there would be no way to explain Maya's presence. "Little one, you have to go now." But Saul, with effort, kept his grip on the girl's hand. "No," he whispered. "Don't go." "Your voice. I remember. You sang, 'Sleep, little one, or Kuka will come.'" Maya finished. "Mom says this song chases away nightmares." Tears began to roll down Saul's cheeks. Somewhere, deep in his shattered mind, he remembered the darkness, the loneliness, and then this voice, this little hand that gave him hope when he didn't even know he needed it. The door swung open. What's going on here? Dr. Reparo stormed in, followed by 3 nurses and residents.
Seeing Maya on the bed, his face turned from medical concern to absolute rage. Ivana, how is it possible that there's a minor in intensive care without permission? Juliana appeared in the doorway at that moment, drawn by the noise, her cleaning uniform soaked with sweat from the night work. Her eyes filled with horror at the sight of her daughter. Maya, get down from there immediately! But Saul, despite his weak state, managed to sit up partially and keep the girl's hand in his. Wait, he said with a clearer voice. This girl, she saved me. Dr. Reparo frowned. Senor Bravo, you just came out of a 3-month coma. It's normal to be confused. I'm not confused. Saul's eyes met Juliana's. Your daughter sang to me, talked to me. I could hear her. Juliana froze. Her face paled as she realized the scale of what had happened without her knowledge. Maya, what did you do? Took care of the lonely gentleman, Mom, as you taught me to care for those who need help. The silence in the room was deafening. The doctors exchanged incredulous glances, and Ivana trembled, expecting the worst. Saul looked directly at Juliana. You are the mother of this girl? Yes, senor. I am Juliana Ferreira, work in night cleaning. I apologize 1,000 times. I didn't know that... Thank you, he interrupted her. Thank you for raising a person who gave me back my life. Dr. Reparo cleared his throat awkwardly. Senor Bravo, we need to conduct immediate medical examinations, and this situation is improper. She must... Saul's voice took on an authoritative tone that surprised everyone. This girl and her mother will not be punished. On the contrary. He looked at Juliana again, and for the first time in his adult life, Saul Bravo felt something he couldn't explain with numbers or contracts. I need to talk to you, Juliana, when I'm medically better. Juliana nodded, took Maya in her arms and headed to the door. But before leaving, the girl shouted to Saul, Now you know my name, so we're real friends. When the door closed, Saul closed his eyes and smiled. For the first time in 35 years, there was something more important than business awaiting him after awakening. But in the corridor, an elegant figure observed the entire scene from the shadows. Vittoria Bravo had come for her bi-weekly visit, and what she had just seen would change everything. 3 days after Saul's awakening, Vittoria Bravo paced the hospital corridors like a predator stalking prey. Her designer suit contrasted sharply with the hospital environment, and each step of her Louboutin shoes echoed like a silent threat. She had investigated for 72 hours straight. What she discovered filled her with cold, calculating rage. Good morning, Doctor, she greeted with her most dangerous smile. I've come to discuss an improper situation regarding my brother. The doctor nervously adjusted his glasses. Senora Bravo, I assure you, we have taken disciplinary measures. Your disciplinary measures don't interest me. I want to know exactly which people manipulated my brother in his vulnerable state. While Vittoria interrogated the medical staff, in room 304, Saul eagerly awaited the promised visit from Juliana. When she appeared in the doorway, dressed in civilian clothes, simple jeans and a blouse emphasizing her natural beauty, Saul felt his heart beat faster, something the monitors couldn't explain. Good day, Senor Bravo. How do you feel? Saul, please. I feel different, as if I've slept my whole life and am just waking up now. Juliana sat on the chair by the bed, maintaining respectful distance, but close enough for him to study her face. I want to apologize again for my... I never imagined she— Don't apologize, he interrupted gently. Your daughter saved my life in a way no doctor could. Juliana lowered her gaze, nervously fiddling with her hands. She's always been special with suffering people. When she was younger, she comforted the old people in the house where we live. She has a very big heart for her age. Who did she inherit this kindness from? The compliment made Juliana blush slightly. From her father, I suppose. He was a good person too, before everything got complicated. Saul noticed the pain flashing in her eyes at the mention of the father. May I ask what happened? Roberto worked in construction. When I got pregnant, he promised we'd build a family. But when Maya was born and the responsibility became real, her voice trembled slightly. One morning he was just gone. He left a note saying he wasn't ready to be a father. I'm very sorry. It must have been very hard. The first years were difficult. I was studying nursing but had to drop the course to work. Maya needed diapers, milk, and medicine when she was sick. Education could wait. My daughter couldn't. Saul felt deep admiration for this woman, who sacrificed her dreams for motherly love. And now, are you planning to resume your studies? Juliana smiled, a mix of hope and realism. I work 2 shifts to save up. In 2 more years, when Maya grows up, maybe I can study on weekends. It's a slow dream, but it's mine. I admire your determination. Most people would give up. My mother taught me that women in our family don't give up. We're poor, but we have dignity and dreams. That's what I want to teach Maya. At that moment, the conversation was interrupted by resolute steps in the corridor. Vittoria appeared in the doorway like an elegant storm, followed by an impressive woman with platinum blonde hair and green eyes cold as ice. Saul, dear brother, I see you're already receiving visitors. Vittoria's tone was sweet as poisoned honey. Juliana stood up immediately, instinctively recognizing the danger. Vittoria, Saul frowned. What are you doing here? I came as soon as I heard about your miraculous recovery, and brought someone who is very worried about you. The blonde stepped forward gracefully like a cat. Hello, darling. I'm Luisa Rodriguez, your fiancé, she added, looking straight at Juliana. The air in the room became thick. Juliana felt as if a bucket of ice water had been poured over her. Luisa, I think we broke up. Oh, darling, that was just a small quarrel. The trauma confused you. That's understandable. Luisa approached the bed with familiarity, completely ignoring Juliana. I was so worried, but the doctors said it's better to let you rest. Now that you're better, we can plan our wedding as we always wanted. Juliana took a step toward the door. I think I should go. It was nice to meet you, Señor Bravo. I'm glad you're recovering. Juliana, wait. But Vittoria subtly blocked the way. Saul, brother, you need rest. Strong emotions are not good for your recovery. Luisa took Saul's hand possessively. Vittoria is right. Saul needs to be surrounded by people who really know and love him. Juliana left the room with her dignity intact, but her heart broken. In the corridor, she met Maya, who had come after school. Mom, why are you sad? We can't visit Saul anymore. Juliana hugged her daughter, fighting back tears. Darling, sometimes people live in very different worlds, and not always can these worlds connect. Inside the room, the tension was palpable. Luisa, we need to talk, said Saul firmly. Of course, darling. We have a lot to talk about, starting with this woman and her daughter, who is clearly taking advantage of your vulnerable state. Vittoria smiled triumphantly. Luisa is right, Saul. I investigated this Juliana Ferreira. Her story is interesting. Very interesting. What do you mean? Let's say her former partner, the girl's father, has connections that might surprise you. Connections that concern our family more than you think. Saul felt a chill run down his spine. The way Vittoria said those words boded no good. What are you talking about? Roberto Sanchez. Does that name sound familiar, brother? Saul's face changed sharply. Roberto Sanchez was the foreman at Bravo Construction 7 years ago and was fired for stealing materials and bribing inspectors. Impossible. Oh yes, possible. The saintly Juliana was married to the man who stole almost 2 million reals from us. Doesn't it seem too convenient that her daughter appears exactly in your room? Louisa squeezed Saul's hand. Darling, obviously this woman planned it all, probably knew who you were from the beginning. For the first time since awakening, a terrible doubt invaded Saul's mind. Could the angel who saved him actually be a perfectly trained fraudster? A week had passed since Vittoria's revelation, and Saul was in a state of internal war that affected his physical recovery. The doctors noticed his irritability, lack of appetite, and sleepless nights. What bothered him most was the complete absence of Maya and Juliana since that evening. Louisa had practically settled in the hospital, coming every morning with fresh flowers, exquisite food, and news about their wedding plans. Darling, I looked through the menus for the reception, said Louisa, arranging white orchids in a crystal vase. I thought we could hold the ceremony in December when you're fully recovered. Saul watched her without seeing her. Louisa was objectively beautiful, successful, from his social class. She was the logical choice that his family would approve, that wouldn't complicate his life with scandals or economic differences. But when he closed his eyes, he could only hear the little voice singing lullabies and remember sincere eyes full of tears. Saul, are you listening to me? Sorry, Louisa. I'm still processing a lot. That's understandable, darling. The brain injury can cause emotional confusion. The doctor explained to me that it's normal for you to feel attachment to people who were present during your recovery. It's a kind of medical Stockholm syndrome. Medical Stockholm syndrome. It sounded so clinical, so cold, that something inside Saul rebelled against it. Louisa, I need to ask you something. Did we really have wedding plans before the accident? Louisa blinked. Her perfect mask trembled for a moment. Well, we discussed the possibility. There were some disagreements about timing, but... What disagreements? Unimportant things. You wanted to wait until you expanded the business inland. I thought it was time to settle down. Details. But Saul was beginning to remember fragments of his life before the accident. He remembered the disappointment, the pressure, the feeling of living a life designed by others. At that moment, Ivana came in to check his vital signs. The nurse had avoided meeting his eyes since the incident with Maya. Ivana, can I ask you something? Of course, Señor Bravo. How is she? The girl. Ivana hesitated, glancing nervously at Louisa. This might be inappropriate. Ivana, please. I just want to know if she's okay. The nurse sighed deeply. Maya is sick. For 4 days she hasn't come to the hospital with her mother. Juliana works 2 shifts to pay for private medical consultations. Saul's heart stopped. What's wrong with her? Pneumonia. The doctors say it's probably due to climate change, but... Ivana lowered her voice. I think it's from sadness. This girl constantly asks about you. Louisa intervened sharply. Ivana, I don't think it's appropriate to involve patients in the personal problems of the service staff. The look Ivana threw at Louisa could have melted steel. With all respect, Sonora, But this girl from the service staff was the one who helped your fiancé come out of the coma. Those are fantasies. The doctors explained it was a coincidence. I was here every night. I saw the monitors, saw the changes when she spoke to him. Saul sat up in bed, ignoring the pain in his muscles. Ivana, where does Juliana live? Your family and I are here to protect you. This is reality. That night, after Louisa left, Saul couldn't sleep. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw a little girl suffering somewhere in the city, wondering if her friend didn't want to see her anymore. At 3 a.m, he made a decision and called Ivana's mobile. Ivana, I know it's very late, but I need a big favor. Senor Bravo, are you okay? Give me Juliana Ferreira's address and call a taxi. Senor, you can't leave the hospital. Your recovery. A 6-year-old girl is sick because I let my family scare her away. I can't live with this on my conscience. From the other end of the line came a long silence. I'll give you the address, but Senor Bravo, be careful. If your family finds out. My family will have to understand that I make some decisions myself. 30 minutes later, Saul was in a taxi heading to one of the most modest neighborhoods in the city, with a package of medications he had obtained from medical samples and a determination he hadn't felt in years. But he didn't know that Vittoria had installed hidden surveillance in the hospital and that his midnight visit would be reported immediately. When he arrived at the small apartment building where Juliana lived and climbed the stairs to the 3rd floor with difficulty, he had no idea that his life was about to change forever. He knocked quietly on the door of apartment 3B. Juliana opened with eyes swollen from tears and in a worn robe, expecting the emergency doctor she had called. Instead, she found the man who occupied her thoughts day and night. Saul, what are you doing here? I came to see my angel, he said simply. To apologize to both of you. Juliana froze on the threshold, unable to believe what her eyes saw. Saul was here, weak but determined, holding a package of medications and with an expression mixing determination and vulnerability. You shouldn't be here, she whispered, nervously glancing at the corridor. Your family. Louisa, if they find out. I don't care about my family right now. Maya is sick. I came to help. From the depths of the small apartment came a dry and persistent cough that broke Saul's heart. Please, let me see her. Juliana hesitated for a moment, but the desperation in her eyes overcame caution. She invited him in. The apartment was tiny but impeccably clean. 2 small rooms, a living room that also served as a dining room, and a simple kitchen. But in every corner was love. Maya's drawings taped to the walls, photos of mother and daughter smiling, stacks of fairy tale books next to the sofa. She's in my room, said Juliana quietly. The temperature dropped a bit this afternoon, but the medications are very expensive. I brought everything I could get from the hospital. Saul handed her the package. Antibiotics, cough syrup, all of the best quality. Juliana took the package with trembling hands. I can't accept this. You've already done too much, and Juliana, please, let me do this. They entered the room together. Maya lay curled under a floral blanket, her cheeks flushed from fever. Seeing Saul, her eyes weakly lit up. Saul, are you real? Am I not dreaming? I'm real, little angel. I came to see you because I was very worried. Maya tried to sit up, but the cough bent her in half. Saul instinctively approached and took her in his arms, holding her until the cough passed. Why didn't you come to me in the hospital? I missed you. Saul's eyes filled with tears. Because I was a fool. I let other people confuse me, and thought about things that weren't true. About you and your mom. What things? Juliana quickly intervened. Maya, Saul is very busy with important people. We understand that no— Saul interrupted her firmly. You understand nothing of that because it's not true. He sat on the small bed and looked directly at Maya. You know what I learned when I was in a coma? That the most important people are not those with the most money or power, but those with big and pure hearts like yours. Maya smiled weakly. Mom says money doesn't buy hugs. Your mom is very wise. Saul looked at Juliana, who stood at the door with arms crossed, protecting herself. Juliana, I need to tell you something very important. My sister told me about Roberto, about what happened in the company. Juliana's face hardened. Ah, now I understand. You came to accuse us. No, I came to apologize for doubting you even for a second. Juliana blinked in confusion. What? Roberto stole from my company 7 years ago. But you are not Roberto. You are an extraordinary woman who raised an extraordinary girl with love and values that my money could never buy. Tears began to roll down Juliana's cheeks. Saul, you didn't know. When Roberto worked, he never mentioned the company name, only said construction firm. When he was arrested for theft, I had already separated from him. If I had known it was your family— It doesn't matter. What's important is this. He pointed around the small apartment. This is the family you built together. This is the love that breathes here. This is the most real thing I've felt in my life. Maya coughed again, but this time it was less strong. Does this mean I can visit you in the hospital again? This means I want to be part of your family, if you accept me. At that moment, Saul's phone rang. Vittoria.
Saul, where the hell are you? Louisa is hysterical. The doctor said you escaped from the hospital. I'm where I need to be, Vittoria. Don't tell me you're with that fraudster and her daughter. I'm with the people I love. The silence on the other end was deafening. Love? Saul, the blow to the head affected you more than we thought. This woman is the most honest person I've met, and her daughter is the angel who saved my life. If you continue this madness, there will be consequences. The board of directors, investors, Louisa. Vittoria, I've made my decision. Louisa and I were never really engaged. Everyone knows that. And regarding the company and investors, I'll deal with it. He hung up. He looked at Juliana. This will be very difficult. My family will fight. They will try to harm us in every possible way. I can't promise it will be easy. Juliana approached slowly. Are you sure of what you're doing? You'll lose a lot. Juliana, I spent 3 months in absolute darkness. Your daughter was the light that brought me back to life. And you showed me what true love means. How can I lose something when I'm gaining everything? Maya managed to sit up. Does this mean you'll be my dad? Saul and Juliana looked at each other, both blushing. First, I need to properly win over your mum, said Saul with a smile. But if she gives me a chance, I'd love to be the father you deserve. Juliana sat on the other side of the bed and took Saul's hand. This will be a very hard battle. The best things in life are worth fighting for. Maya hugged them with her small arms. My cough is already better. Love heals faster than medicine. At that moment, loud knocks on the door interrupted the intimate moment. Juliana Ferreira, open immediately! We have a court order! Vittoria had played her most dangerous card, and the war for Saul's heart was about to officially begin. 6 months later, the morning sun filtered through the windows of the new Bravo Ferreira house.
A cozy home in a quiet middle-class neighborhood, elegant enough to satisfy Saul's needs, but modest enough for Juliana to feel at home. Maya, now fully recovered and radiant, ran through the garden chasing butterflies while Juliana prepared breakfast and Saul reviewed some documents from the new fund they had created together. The court battle had lasted 4 tense months. Vittoria tried to declare Saul mentally incompetent, hired private detectives to find compromising material on Juliana that didn't exist, and pressured the board of directors to expel him from the family company. But Saul proved that love can also be strategic. With the help of independent lawyers, he meticulously documented his mental and physical recovery, presented evidence of medical negligence he received from his own family during the coma, contrasting it with the loving care he received from Maya. Most importantly, he threatened to publicly expose some dark machinations of construction contracts that Vittoria hid. In the end, they reached an agreement. Saul kept 40% of the company shares, Vittoria 35%, the remaining 25% to external investors. He would handle affordable housing projects, while Vittoria managed luxury commercial enterprises. Louisa, surprisingly, was the first to accept the new reality. During the trial, she met Saul's lawyer, a divorced man her age, who genuinely appreciated her mind and ambitions. Their wedding was planned for the next month, and, curiously, she invited Saul and Juliana. "Darling, are you ready?" asked Juliana from the kitchen, dressed in her new white nurse uniform. Juliana had returned to her studies. Saul insisted on paying for the education, but they agreed. He pays for the tuition, but she works part-time at the hospital to cover her personal expenses.
Her pride remained intact, but now she had the support she always needed.
"Almost done, beloved. I'm just reviewing the list of patients for today's visit." Saul had created a pilot program at the clinic, Angel Companions, where volunteer children visited patients in coma or long recovery. Maya was the official child coordinator, and every Saturday brought other children to share stories, songs, and drawings with lonely patients. "Dad! Saul!" shouted Maya into the house. "Look what I found!" In her hands was a small butterfly with a damaged wing. "Poor thing, she can't fly well. Can we heal her?" Juliana approached and carefully looked at the butterfly. "I think she just needs rest and care, darling, like you gave Dad when he was sick." "Yes, and like Dad gives us every day," added Maya, with the wisdom that only children who have experienced a lot of love have. Now, all three were in the hospital. Maya insisted on bringing the butterfly in a ventilated box, convinced that seeing something so beautiful would help patients feel better. In room 318, a middle-aged man had been in a coma for 2 weeks after a work accident. His family visited only on Sundays. The rest of the time, he remained alone. "Hello, Señor Carlos," said Maya, with the affectionate familiarity she had perfected. "I'm Maya, and these are my parents, Juliana and Saul. We came to keep you company." She carefully climbed onto the chair next to the bed, just as she had done with Saul months ago. "I brought you a friend. This is a butterfly that's recovering just like you. Dad says sometimes the most beautiful things need time to fly again." The patient's monitors showed subtle but noticeable activity. Juliana and Saul exchanged glances full of amazement and love. Their daughter not only saved Saul, she discovered her gift to heal souls. "You know what, Señor Carlos?" continued Maya. "My dad slept very long like you. I sang songs to him so he wouldn't be scared."
Do you want me to sing one for you? She began to hum the same lullaby she had sung to Saul,
and for a moment, the room filled with the same magic that had changed everything months ago. Sleep, little one, or Kuka will come and take you. Dad went to the field. Mom went to work. In the corridor, Ivana watched the scene with tears in her eyes. Saul approached her. Ivana, thank you. Without your involvement that first night, none of this would have been possible. Senor Bravo, forgive me, Saul. I just did what my heart told me was right. And it changed 3 lives forever. 2 hours later, as they walked to the car, Maya announced, "The butterfly can fly a little now. I think Senor Carlos will wake up soon, too." "How do you know, darling?" asked Juliana. "Because when I told him I now have a full family, he smiled. Just a little, but smiled. People wake up faster when they know love is waiting for them." Saul stopped in the middle of the hospital parking lot and hugged his 2 women. "You know what I learned? I slept for 35 years, not just 3 months. I was living, but not truly awake, until you taught me what it means to love and be loved unconditionally." Juliana kissed him tenderly. "And we learned that miracles exist. Sometimes they come when you least expect them." Maya hugged them. "I learned that families are created not only by blood, they are created by love, and that angels are sometimes just ordinary girls who want to help." As they drove home, Saul reflected on how a 6-year-old girl had taught him the most important lesson of his life: that true wealth is measured not by bank accounts, but by the amount of love you give and receive, and that sometimes, to find the life you really need, you first need to wake up from the sleep others built for you. 5 years later, the Sunday afternoon sun shone through the living room window while Saul read the newspaper and Juliana cleared the dishes after lunch. Maya, now 11, was in the yard, playing with her 2 adoptive siblings, Miguel, 8 years old, and Carla, 5 years old, both from the adoption program the family had joined 2 years ago. The Angel Companions program had grown so much that it now operated in 12 hospitals in Sao Paulo and 3 other cities. Maya remained the youngest child coordinator in the country, and her story inspired documentaries, reports, and even a book. Juliana had completed her nursing courses with distinction and now headed the hospital humanization department at the clinic. Saul had transformed the construction company into an enterprise focused on social housing and social projects. "Dad," said Maya, entering the living room with a letter in hand. "This came for you." Saul took the envelope. It was from the Syrio-Libanese hospital. "Dear Senor Bravo," he read aloud so Juliana could hear. "We are pleased to inform you that Senor Carlos Mendez, the patient who was in a coma for 6 weeks in our hospital, fully awoke last week. During the recovery process, he repeatedly mentioned an angel girl who sang to him. When we showed him a photo of the Angel Companions program, he immediately recognized your daughter, Maya." Juliana stopped wiping the dishes. "Carlos woke up?" "Not only woke up," continued Saul reading. "He wants to personally meet the Bravo Ferreira family to thank them. He says Maya's voice brought him back." Maya smiled. "I knew he would wake up. I always wake them." "Not always, darling," said Juliana, hugging her daughter. "No, but in most cases. When I don't wake them, at least they know someone cares." Saul folded the letter and looked at his family. Miguel was teaching Carla to ride a bike in the yard, while Juliana finished cleaning the kitchen, quietly singing. Maya was drawing another of her famous Happy Family drawings. "You know what I think," said Saul. "We are the happiest family in the world."
Why? Asked Carla, running into the house.
Because we found each other when we needed each other most. And because we have a lot of love to give. And because love always finds a way, completed Maya without lifting her eyes from the drawing. She sat next to Saul on the sofa. What are you drawing now, daughter? Our new house. But we already have a house, said Carla, confused. This one is different. It's bigger. It has a special place for receiving children from the program, and it has a very big garden where all injured butterflies can recover. Saul looked at the drawing. A huge house with many colored windows, a garden full of flowers, and dozens of stick figures of all ages playing together. Beautiful, Maya. Isn't our current house small? No, Dad. I didn't mean to build a new house. Maya finally lifted her eyes from the drawing and smiled. I meant that our family will still grow. Juliana and Saul looked at each other. How many brothers and sisters do you think we'll have? Asked Juliana, laughing. All who need us. That night, after the children went to bed, Juliana and Saul sat in the yard looking at the stars. Do you believe what our daughter said today? Asked Juliana. That we'll still grow? Saul took Juliana's hand. Maya has a special gift to see what people's hearts need. If she thinks we'll still grow, she's probably right. And would you be ready for more children? 6 years ago, I was a dead man in a hospital bed. Now I have a beloved wife, 3 wonderful children, and a life full of meaning. If more children come who need love, there will be room in our heart. And if it's not a child? Saul looked at Juliana, confused. What do you mean? Juliana smiled and placed his hand on her stomach. And if it's our own baby? Saul's eyes filled with tears. Juliana, you. I'm in the 6th week. I found out this morning, but wanted to be sure before telling you. Saul hugged and kissed her as if it were the first time. Maya knew, I think. Yes, she always knows everything before us. From the bedroom window, Maya watched them hugging in the yard and smiled. She needed to add one more figure to her drawing. She returned to bed and whispered a prayer of gratitude as she had done every evening for the last 6 years. Thank you for letting me take care of Dad. Thank you for our family. And thank you for teaching me that love always finds a way. In the next room, Miguel and Carla slept soundly, protected by the love of their new family. In the master bedroom, Juliana and Saul talked quietly about names for the baby and plans for the future. And in the heart of Sao Paulo, in various hospitals of the city, other children from the Angel Companions program kept lonely patients company, whispering words of hope. Because Maya taught everyone that you don't need to be an angel to bring light into the darkness. Sometimes it's enough to just be a human with a big heart and believe that love can wake anyone who is sleeping. The story of Saul, Juliana, and Maya proved to the world that sometimes families are not born, but chosen. That true love can overcome any obstacles, and that when a child believes in you, you can move mountains. Thus, the week that began with a girl appearing in a hospital room saying, "Don't be afraid, I'm here," turned into a whole life full of love, meaning, and miracles. The end. This beautiful story teaches us that it's never too late to find true love and create a family. Sometimes, the second chance comes when we least expect it. And, as we saw, love can overcome any obstacles when there is the desire to change and fight for what really matters. Saul completely changed his life out of love for Maya and Juliana, proving that happiness is not in money or success, but in the simple moments shared with the people we love.
If this story touched you as much as it did us, don't forget to like the video and share it with friends and family who also love heart-touching stories. Your support helps us a lot to continue creating content that inspires and transforms. If you want more such stories, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell to not miss any new story about love and family. And tell us in the comments from which city you are watching. It's very nice for us to know that we have friends from all corners of Brazil who like our stories.